You are not going to believe this one. China is now taxing condoms. But what if I told you that this might actually make their population crisis worse? Not better, but worse. And by the end of the video, you'll see exactly why this matters to you. China has now reclassified condoms, meaning they are now subject to a consumption tax. This comes as the country is dealing with a serious population decline, fewer births, an aging workforce, and slowing economy. So the idea here is simple. Make contraception slightly more expensive, maybe kids, or maybe people will have more kids, that is. But here's the problem. The logic doesn't actually fit the reality of what's happening in people's lives. Here's why it could actually make it worse. Here's the plan on how this backfires. First off, it doesn't fix the real issue of why people aren't having kids right now. They're avoiding children, not because condoms are cheap. They're avoiding them because life is expensive. There's housing, childcare, job stability is an issue. That is a major uncertainty right now. So the tax changes none of the core problems. Next, it increases financial anxiety around having kids. So when people feel more financial pressure, they don't suddenly start having families. They delay them or they skip them entirely. Then it also pushes people further away from long-term family planning. Instead of encouraging stable households, it creates more stress and uncertainty. And when people feel uncertain about their lives, birth rates drop because people aren't going to bring kids into a household where they can't afford them. You can't tax your way into a baby boom, especially when people can't afford the babies in the first place. So instead of increasing birth rates, this could actually accelerate a decline because it creates more of an issue. Let's talk about why this actually matters to you. You might be thinking, why should I care about this? I don't live in China. I don't care what they do. But the thing is, because China is a massive part of the global economy, if their population keeps shrinking, there's fewer workers there, which means slower production, which means more strain on their economy. And that can lead to higher prices on goods, supply chain issues, and volatility in the global markets. Translation, your cost of living and investments could feel this impact. All right, so what can you actually do? Because that's a weird thing, right? Where's the connection? First, you need to start building some kind of buffer because this global instability and their population issues is going to increase our prices. You need to cut any kind of dependency on things you don't need, first off, and diversify where you can for where you're invested. Stay ahead of any kind of economic shifts. Don't react late. Be aware that these things are happening. You have to watch where your money's going. Any kind of demographic shifts affect everything. So position yourself where you know that you can have some kind of control and get out fast. The key here is that governments will experiment, but you need to stay one step ahead of them. So, my fellow renegades, do you think that policies like this actually increase birth rates or make them worse? And do you think that government should actually be involved in birth rates at all? Drop your comments below. Be sure to subscribe. Remember, think differently, take control, be a renegade, and until next time, have a great day.